What's up, everyone? It's Corey, the main host for the All Sports Now podcast and YouTube channel, and welcome to my Trevor Lawrence Pro Day breakdown. I recently did a breakdown in a very similar style on BYU quarterback Zach Wilson's Pro Day, and because that hit 10 likes, I was able to make this thing, so thank you all so much for that support. If you have not seen that already, make sure you head over to that video right after this one. Make sure you like and subscribe as well, and you will get more frequent sports content. Leave comments in the comment section regarding what you want to see in the future, and I will make sure I attend to that. And without further ado, I am going to be breaking down Trevor Lawrence's mechanics, his approach to the game, and how I think he will translate into the NFL. So let's get this thing going. Alrighty, let's get going on this thing. So here is Trevor Lawrence. Definitely going to be the number one overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. It's extremely obvious, and if you don't believe me, you will see in multiple shots throughout this video. Oh, there he is, right there. Urban Meyer, just watching his future quarterback's pro day, as if he can't make it any more obvious. So I think it's pretty obvious that Trevor Lawrence will be going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Lawrence went to Cartersville High School in Cartersville, Georgia. He was a two-sport athlete playing football and basketball. 6'6", 220-pound frame. I definitely believe that he was playing basketball before as he gets going here. There's a quick slant hitting his receiver right in stride. So a couple years ago, Lawrence commits to Clemson, and as a freshman, he picks up right where Deshaun Watson had left off by winning the Clemson Tigers their second championship in 3 years in the year of 2018. In his 3 years at Clemson, Lawrence passed for 90 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. That's better than a 5-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, which is just absolutely insane. 10,098 yards, a completion percentage of 67% as he hits his receiver on a little bubble screen there. He made the college football playoff all 3 years at Clemson and lost to Justin Fields and Ohio State in the most recent one. Didn't really affect his draft stock at all, though. It was more of a team performance thing. Lawrence has been phenomenal. So here's Lawrence setting up for his next play. We're about 4 or 5 throws into his pro day. He's going to roll left, throw off platform, and watch this one. Absolute frozen rope. I mean, Lawrence can literally do it all, as I'm going to show you guys here. Look at the stat right there. 34-2 as a starter at Clemson. The guy is nearly flawless. He's about as perfect of a prospect as you could possibly get. He is mobile. He can throw the ball on a frozen rope to an open receiver, or he can touch pass and float it right over a defender in his face, which he's probably going to face in Jacksonville. I can't lie to you. I mean, Jacksonville has not protected their quarterbacks, the many of them that they've had in the last few years, to the best of their abilities. They're in the bottom half of the league in terms of sacks allowed. Last year they allowed 44, which was 7th worst in the NFL. So Lawrence is not going to be comfortable. He's not just going to be sitting in the pocket. He's going to be rolling out, throwing over defenders right in his face, over edge rushers who are beating the tackles and guards, as there's Urban Meyer again, up close and personal with his young quarterback prospect. And he's going to have to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. I mean, that's just the reality. Here's a little stop and go route. And again, hits his receiver right in stride. I don't think we've seen any mistakes so far in this pro day. Obviously, everything is scripted. One thing I really appreciate about these pro days, especially this year, is that they're doing everything they possibly can to simulate game time situations. You're seeing Lawrence rolling out. A little bit later in this video, you'll see some coaches run up in his face, simulating defenders. But as we're going to see here, Lawrence is just a phenomenal talent. Here's Lawrence. 5-step drop, hits his wide receiver on a comeback. And he had a great supporting cast at Clemson too, and they're kind of hurrying up here now, really cranking out some plays. It looks like Trevor's getting warm. Another comeback route to the right. And as you can see, Lawrence is going through his makeshift progression throughout this pro day, which you also love to see. Saw that a lot in the Zach Wilson video. You want to simulate and show your coaches, even though it's pretty evident, as we see Urban Meyer again, that Trevor Lawrence is going to Jacksonville. You want to be able to show everyone, hey, I'm going to go through my progressions, I'm going to survey the field, and then I'm going to select the best option. Dropping back. Nice out route. Leads his receiver to the sidelines, and that's exactly what you want to do, especially throwing it to them on their break, which you love to see. I'm going to back up here because that's one thing you see a lot in colleges, or in college quarterbacks in general, especially on powerhouse teams like Clemson, is they're so used to seeing their wide receivers just wide open that they're going to throw it to them when they're open. They're not really going to throw it on their break or anticipate anything on the routes. Lawrence throws it to his receivers on the breaks. He does it in game time situations too, but as you can see here, little 5-step drop, he throws it right on his break. I mean, his receiver just hit his break right here, and this ball is going to land right about at the sidelines, but he'll still give his receiver just enough room to get both of his feet in. I absolutely love that about him. It's play action with the fake handoff. Throws it. I mean, he's throwing bullets. He throws what I have been hearing as a very wide receiver friendly ball. He's not trying to break your fingers like Peyton Manning in that commercial with the 4-year-olds where he's absolutely chucking at them, and his wide receiver had to go down and get it there, but honestly, that's not the worst thing ever, especially if you're throwing it right where only your receiver can get it. But he throws a very wide receiver friendly ball in that he's not going to try and break your fingers, but he's going to zip it there when he needs to find you in a hole in the zone. You know, he's not going to float anything if he doesn't need to. He wants to get the ball to you quickly and efficiently, but he's also going to throw it right at you. I'm going to stop this next play because I guarantee it'll be just fine in terms of the example that I'm going to say here. But Lawrence isn't just aiming for his receivers. He is aiming for like the spot in between his receivers' numbers. That is how accurate he is. His target is so small that he almost never throws anything in an inaccurate fashion. Rolls left here, and look at that. And there's two things I love about this. As I'm going to go back here. It's a fake handoff, motioning his receiver to the left. Okay, so he's rolling left. His coach right here, he's simulating a defensive tackle or a defensive end who got off the line, and that's going to happen a lot. Jacksonville's not going to fix everything just by having Trevor Lawrence in town, although I'm sure he would love for that to happen. And Trevor's not going to be able to get his feet set. He's rolling out, and he's having that oh crap moment right now. This is what he's simulating. Oh, here's the defender. I can't just zip it to him. I've got to throw it over the outstretched hands of Aaron Donald or J.J. Watt or Cam Jordan. There's someone who is bearing down on me right now. He has to pepper this ball right over the defender, out of their reach. It could be completely blind, so you can't simulate everything here. But what I love is, one, he's throwing off platform, and that they're simulating this in general in this very uncomfortable situation that he's probably going to face a lot in play action situations, not just with a halfback to the left or right, but to behind him. Or even out of shotgun if someone's just bearing down on him and a block gets blown. But the second thing I love is look at the accuracy of this thing. There is no break in stride here. There's no adjustment to the ball. If you were to just have this guy run his route without having to catch the ball, he's running this the exact same way. You see no adjustment at all. He hits him right in the numbers, right in the outstretched hands, and if his defender's following him, let's say we're playing man, he's probably trailing him if he runs his route well. So you don't want to throw it behind him. You want to lead them. You don't want that pass to slow the receiver down at all. It doesn't here at all. I'm going to back up a few seconds. Okay, let's say they're playing man. They'd follow him behind the line here. Maybe a linebacker's on him. And he's hitting him right in stride. And now he's just able to skate up the sidelines for as many yards as he possibly can. That's what we talk about when we say Trevor Lawrence throws a wide receiver-friendly ball. He allows those yards after catch to happen. So another thing about Lawrence, that he's actually going to be having surgery on his non-throwing shoulder. It shouldn't impact him too much, but there is speculation that his 6'6", 220-pound frame, it's not exactly accurate. He could be a little bit lighter. He hasn't really been able to work out too much because of the fact that he's anticipating a surgery. Oh, a StreamYard ad! I was looking at this platform for maybe 2 seconds, and all of a sudden the internet cookies said, yes, Corey, you will get StreamYard ads for the next 30 years of your life. So anyway, he's probably sitting around 210, 215. He's not really able to bulk up on muscle mass right now. You don't want to eat too much. I don't think it's affecting him, though. He looks comfortable. He looks loose. He's mobile. His eyes are consistently downfield, as you'd see in any of his Clemson tape, and I think that's going to relate to the NFL really well. I mean, they have guys like K.J. Cole and Chenault and James Robinson, who was undrafted and was an absolute beast out of the backfield and would have been Rookie of the Year if there weren't some other phenomenal performances in the NFL last year. So running play action with him and really using that threat for the run, and depending on how much they want to utilize the mobileness of Trevor Lawrence, it could be a dangerous tandem back there. I'm not saying this team's going to go out and win 9-10 games, but it's a 17-game season this year. As he hits his receiver, absolutely on stride, no shocker there. It's a 17-game season. I wouldn't be shocked if they scrap 5 or 6 wins, go 5-12 or 6-11, which sounds so weird. I'm so used to that 16-game schedule. Here's Lawrence under center again. He's going to hit his receiver straight on the fly, and I absolutely love that. It hit his receiver in the hands. I mean, if the guy's a little faster, so be it. I don't think a safety is going to lean over and be able to pick that off for one reason in particular. And I didn't back up enough. I apologize. For one reason in particular. He is under center. Surveying. There's the play action. Look where his eyes are. His eyes right now are looking almost at Urban Meyer, but kind of right up the Clemson logo, right? Now keep in mind, this is simulated. This isn't an actual game. But they are trying to simulate game time situations. While this guy's running his fly, let's say they're playing man with a safety up high. We'll say cover one just for the sake of demonstration. That safety, if he were to overthrow this, which he slightly does, it hits his receiver in the hands, would crack this receiver to the point that he would never have a chance at the ball and could even read the route good enough to pick it off if Lawrence had stared him down. Look where his shoulders are aimed. Look where his vision is. Look where his feet are set. What you want to do as a quarterback, especially in the league, when you're going to have to trick some defenses when you're playing with a team that's rebuilding, the one thing that you do not want to do is stare down your wide receiver. All Lawrence does here, surveys his hypothetical options, and then he's going to pivot off his back foot once his receiver hits the number and he sees an opening, and then he'll sling it. There's the pivot. Now he's looking. I'm sorry, that safety's not covering that ground in time. He pivots right when he's about to throw it. There's not a whole lot of staring going on. It's survey, pivot, fire. So at the very worst, that is an incomplete pass. The safety is not creeping over. And it's those little things that you want to see. Like I said, Lawrence isn't really trying to woo any scouts. He understands where he's going. This is probably one of the most obvious number one draft picks in history. But those little things are very encouraging if I'm Urban Meyer and I'm watching this. I'm watching my QB survey the field. I'm watching him do the right things. I'm watching him hit his pivot, turn to his wide receiver, and fire the ball immediately after. Now Lawrence is out of shotgun. They're simulating a red zone situation, or just about. They're within 25 to 20 yards. Back corner of the end zone. In college that works, but in the NFL that doesn't, and that his receiver only got 1 foot in. But you put the ball right where you want to. You want to hit them in stride. You want to hit them in the back corner of the end zone, and you want to survey the field that way. You're not going to get picked off. Another beautiful ball. Butterfingers. So here's Trevor working within the end zone now. He's no longer under center. He's going to be running out of shotgun. And what you want to look for here is he's getting the ball out quickly. He's not allowing a safety or a linebacker to drip over. Here's a simulated coverage, actually. Hitting his receiver right on his break, running a little seam, and hitting him right on the money. 1 knee equals 2 feet in the NFL. That is more than sufficient. Throwing an absolute dart. Throwing it away from the guy who's covering his own. And you honestly love to see that. You love to see him survey his options and sling the ball out quickly so that no one can jump the route. Red zone turnovers are crucial in the NFL. It's a huge deflator no matter where you are in terms of how close you are to winning or losing the game, what the score is, anything like that. You want to be accurate. You want to make the right decisions in the red zone, and you want to even have the discipline to throw the ball away if you don't see anything there. Running hurry up now, another out of shotgun, and in from the left. Lawrence floats that one up. But as long as you're throwing it where only your wide receiver can get it and it can't be picked off, again, you can't hate it too much. These are things that are really going to be circumstantial in terms of what formations are coming in, if they're running out of bunch, if they're getting a lot of pressure, how the O-line is holding up, how James Robinson's doing. That determines how effective the play action is in general. And there's Lawrence adjusting. 19 drops it there, but not too bad. And now they're pretty much simulating goal line right here. You're probably going to see some type of play action or just a really quick throw. His wide receiver out right here. Good camera angle from behind him. 3-step drop, a little fade into the corner. Those are extremely hard to perfect. So the fact that they're showing Urban Meyer, I mean, this is pretty much a simulated practice. There he is. Guess who's drafting Trevor Lawrence? This is more seeing what his quarterback can do and what they can work on once they get him. Because I'm telling you right now, Jacksonville is not trading that number 1 overall pick for anything. This is more or less seeing where he's at right now, seeing what they have to work on once everybody gets the pads on. Great job, cameraman. The fence was right in the way. And here's the throw I feel like a lot of people have been talking about. It's the last one of his pro day. He's going to sling it. And look, with the exception of how Jacksonville can build around him, I think it's going to be a nice transition to the NFL for Trevor Lawrence. They're not going to win a whole lot right away. And here he is, pivoting left, rolling right, getting the feet set. That's going at least 55, 60 yards. And that is what we like to see. It's going to be fun to watch this young gun transition to the NFL and see how he does. I hope you can understand, judging by everything we just saw in his pro day, that there's a lot to be excited about here. So in conclusion, I am pretty high on Trevor Lawrence, and I think he has the potential to be a generational talent in the NFL for years and years to come, if used correctly and if built around correctly. I don't think his talent is the question at all. You just saw the pro day. He's got everything you could ever want out of a quarterback. I think the question is how Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and yes, I'm making the assumption that they're going to grab him this year as the first overall pick selection, are going to build around him and how the playbook is going to look. You've got to play to his strengths, and it shouldn't be that hard to do so. He can do a little bit of everything. They have James Robinson in the backfield, who will be a second-year running back who had an extremely good rookie year, especially for being undrafted. And there's also KJ Cole, who's a great deep threat, and Chenault out wide as well. I think he's got some good weapons, and I think that he'll be able to transition pretty well. It's just going to be a matter of how they draft, honestly. That defense was an absolute mess. The offensive line was really bad with allowing pressure to whoever was under center, so that's going to be a big determining factor. With that being said, I have Trevor Lawrence throwing 22 touchdowns and 9 interceptions in his rookie year, and I have him having 4 rushing touchdowns as well. I have him throwing 9 picks, which may seem a little high, especially considering that I just called him a generational talent, for a couple of reasons. One, he's a rookie. He's going to make some rookie mistakes, but he's also going to be under a lot of pressure unless that offensive line goes under some serious reconstruction. I still think he's going to have a decent year, and Jacksonville has a lot to build with. If this video can get 15 likes, I am going to say, let's do a Justin Fields Pro Day analysis as well. So let's make sure we get to that. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. If you have gotten all the way to the end with this point, I really appreciate you, and we will see you next time right here on All Sports Now.
So I think it's time we say goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. What's the point to all of this?